doesn't matter. My idea was to present 3 museums, three different points in Europe, and to explain how it works in each place. But we will speak mostly for Chypre in the beginning. It's a very, very rich region, as you already understand. And one of the more interesting things here is the nature. And as a botanist, I'm very, very unhappy to see that there is nothing happens after so many years working here around and trying to do things. It's why I wanted please to show to the person from this year from the university that very special flowers, which is typical for the region and known as Serbian phonics, with scientific name Ramona Sebica, which has the property like thanks to
rise from the grave.
Even when it's dry. Because Mrs. Trancho will help me with the presentation of Chypre, maybe it will be even better because I'm pretty sure she can present better Chypre than me. I will leave her that pleasure. So after all that, it will be difficult to attract me again, and I think I will skip maybe 90% of what I wanted to say, doesn't matter. Just to show the picture is made, if I'm not mistaken, 2-3 years ago. In fact, what you see on that photo is what it's usually here when we are not in Chypre. It's over there. And that lady showed me how they prepare the wool for the carpets. So we'll skip all that, and even that, and then my idea was to show that the region is really very rich, but there's a lot of things to do to promote it and to make from the museum interest place and to try to explain how it can be developed. For that, I choose the example from Montreal. Welcome back to France. It's in southern France. Here and Paris and Saint-Denis around here, for those who are already lost. So that's the Cape de Pondarago, and it's one of the archaeological sites in the region. It's the site that there already works for more than 50 years. And the team working there is working. They made the museum in 1992. In '64, they discovered a part of the human skull, which at the time was the oldest European man ever discovered. It's not the case anymore, to be sure. But they managed to have some money to build a museum, a very rich museum, 22 rooms, a lot of materials, interactive activities. They made different festivals during the summer, which attract a lot of people, and many people want to come again and again and again. For the last 8 years already, we have also every August the festival of the Astronomy Festival. that we try to integrate as a part of the museum works. A lot of activities also for students and that they can come to take to have some contacts with with the scientific teams and to have some information to discover what is the work of the scientifics. That's photos from the museum. So what the museum is done completely because of the discoveries we made from the archaeological site. That's the called Congress Center. In 2011 they made a very nice exhibition, sometimes called museum, from the first inhabitants in Europe. And they used really modern techniques to catch the visitors. So even if you are not interested in prehistory, history, human evolution, botanic, paleontology, and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure you will get out very happy and you will be catched into your work something. Sorry? Alcohol, no alcohol. It's just an illusion. It's a binary region. So
why do you not
no,
adopt
it's not an alcohol. It's just an empty bottle.
An artifact.
I didn't mention we're back to France, no? They don't have wine there, so it's like the bottle is empty.
It's vinegar.
Because?
They drank it.
There is also the skull,
Yes,
Yeah.
right. They did it's Muzeit. They did it in 2000, I think 7. And in fact, that one it's the continuance of that one. So maybe the most important message that I get is that to be able to make a museum where you can expose the rich history of the region, of a town, whatever. How to say, I think it's safe here. There are few keywords that maybe you have to keep in mind and to try to develop. Very important is the communication. It's something that in our days it's very difficult and almost nobody do it. We have all our phone, tablets, laptops and stuff like that, and instead of talking to each other, we are on the chat. And the communications for me is very important on all levels, between friends, between institutions, between states, between everything. Motivation. It's one of the things that I have some pain to explain why it's important. Actually, I'm working on a project in a town in southern Bulgaria. They just don't want to stay even a minute longer after the end of their work time. And if you're not motivated, you can have the richest history, the richest museum, the richest region, the richest nature. You can do nothing. Management. I'm not the best specialist in the room, as I know. But it's really very important because it's good to have. It's good to know how to lead the team to have a good result. The network, the museum in Titerel is in, they put 50 years to build a very nice network with different institutions, not only in France. We are in touch with a lot of institutions in Africa and Asia. And it's allowed us to have a very reachable exchanges and to have new knowledge. And to make some exchange that allow us to go further and further. Open mind, always, for everything. Don't close your own doors, please. It's one of the things I like from the university here. interdisciplinary. It's something very, for me it's something very important today for the people living in our days, for the young people. Have to be very curious and go to pick as much information as you can, as many places as you can. Volunteers, it's one of the tools that all museums can use. All you needed to have motivate volunteers and to try to keep them interested. And one of the ways to keep them interested in our activities is to make them a real part from the working team. If it's museum, if it's library, if it's something other. It's very important when you have volunteers, really to show them that you're interested from what they will bring you, and also to bring them something new. Because I skip most of the things, if you have any question later, I think. Now you can, the questions for Mrs. Tranquil and what.
Now is the time for questions and there the voice.
If nobody else has, I have one. Sorry, Drago. Okay, I have a question for Elena. I know smaller cities than Chicorsee who has museums which are, the museum give life for the city. But here we can give a life to the museum. Can you tell us how to do it? What is the how?
So
Don't
first
we
you
do it in
motivate,
the-
then again motivate and very motivate, and then you have to be a fighter today in Bulgaria to give some life to the museum. It's what I tried to do in Haskovo. I fight already for more than 1 year. And the result is that I spent 1 year to wait, and now I have less than amount to make a reconstruction, it's not a reconstruction, it's a reconstitution en français на български, как ли звучи това? За възстановка на неолитно жилище. На български го намерих възстановка, на английски не го намерих. No, restoration if rebuild. Anyhow, so now I have less than amount to go there, to become an analytic guy, to learn the nature, to see the different species they have, to look at different materials they have, and you have really to be very motivated and to have ideas easy to do. So I managed somehow, I don't know, I managed somehow to realize some of my ideas for the night, museum night, the museum. And we had like 1,000 people just for a few hours, and the director said that it's for the very first time for many years in hospital. Till now, the biggest number of visitors was something like 200. So it's almost 5 times more. You have to be really very motivated and to have easy for a realization ideas, at least in the beginning, to get the work started.
Okay, Drago.
Another question to Elena. You said something about the motivation. Actually, you spoke a lot of motivation. My question is related to it. I would like to ask in relation to the French Museum, which initiative it was to develop this approach? Who is the engine of the whole idea? Who generated it? Who started it?
The construction of the museum, or what exactly?
No, the exhibitions and festivals. Who started them? which idea it was?
The festivals of astronomy, it's, we were a few crazy guys. One of our colleagues in the museum, it's an astronomer. So in the beginning, he did it just for people who like it. And then we pushed him to do something because in Tutaveu it's a very nice place where you can observe the stars. And I will go back to your family name, sorry, Stefan presentation. Tutaveu it's engaged to slow the pollution, the light pollution. So it's very, very easy to observe the stars there.
So we need some crazy guys.
Yeah,
See if
definitely.
Some people would
Every
give
time
to
we
the
need some
stars.
crazy guys.
There is a question at the back.
Yes.
I have a question for Etienne. You've probably taken part in some of these demonstrations that you told us about, or if you haven't, then my question, I guess, is also...
If I take part in the demonstration?
Yes, and to tell us something of your own experience if you have.
Yes, I take part of. I'm involved in trade unionism since 10 years now, from my 17 years old. So I have a kind of experiment about that, where I am trade unionist, so and I was participating in Nuit Debout too, as these interfaces, and to see, because it's different, it's alternative, but I have the I try to think about that and to take some distance too. I mean, it's a good point when you are in social science. It's how to make involvement in your research, in your field, and to try to think about, for example, to be here in Chipotsi with you, give me occasion, in fact, to try to think a little about Nuit Debout in more academic or social science way than if I was staying in France and continuing, because in the social mobilization, it's, you know, it's day by day, there is a lot of stuff to happen. You don't necessarily take the time to think really